We start things off from the New York Post. Doctor who dropped 70 pounds on all-meat regime says we've been misfed and misled. Now, have we, ladies and gentlemen? Let's see here. A growing number of Americans are trying to consume more protein. Dr. Ken Berry, a physician in rural Tennessee, traces some of the trend to people reporting improved health by following meat-based diets. Each year, the IFIC survey asked Americans to select the qualities that best define a healthy food. In 2025, Americans' views shifted, with good source of protein overtaking fresh as the top criterion. The survey also found that for the fifth year in a row, most Americans, that would be 70%, reported protein as the nutrient they're most trying to consume. That's up from 62% in 2021. While protein remains a priority for many Americans, nutrition experts continue to debate the optimal amount of sources of protein for long-term. Now, I have been following Dr. Berry here, I think around 10 years when I was going through a GI issue and also was part of the ketogenic diet. I didn't go all meat, but I was part of a ketogenic diet. And I ended up losing 26 pounds, and it works very effectively. And since that time, I have been doing intermittent fasting. As a matter of fact, I just started back on the 4th of May doing my intermittent fasting and occasional fasting, as well as reducing all snacks, eliminating all snacks. That's all I've done. And as of this month, I'm continuing to do that, as well as doing exercises as well. So I haven't weighed in until Saturday, but it'll be interesting to see where I am now after a full month of that. Berry was a keynote speaker at the Meat Stock 2026, an annual convention for followers of carnivore and ketogenic diets. Meat Stock continues to grow each and every year, sometimes doubling, Berry told Fox News Digital. Carnivore diets vary slightly, Berry said. Some people eat only meat. Some eat ruminant meat only, while others incorporate meat, eggs, and fish. That would be me, because I did bacon and eggs and that sort of thing. And also, occasionally, I would do grits. But, of course, that's obviously going to have carbs. But if you want to check out Dr. Berry, by all means, this is his, obviously, the story here that I'm reading for you here. His website, or his YouTube here, Ken D. Berry, MD. And as I said, I've been watching him for... I think 10 to 11 years, maybe somewhere in 2015-ish, so it'd be about 11 years, I would say, roughly, when I started watching him on ketogenics and that sort of thing. And you can follow him here on X as well if you want to. And each time I think about an all-meat diet, I can't help but think of Michaela Peterson, the daughter of a very famous psychologist there in Canada. You guys may be familiar with him, Jordan Peterson. If you guys weren't familiar with it, here is Jordan here. And he and her have had lots of health issues. And as you can see here, you see what is the loin diet. And she went on an all-meat diet. As a matter of fact, she is well known here for her Joe Rogan podcast interview, where she talks about carnivore diet fixed Michaela Peterson's arthritis. Now, of course, she had other conditions as well as her father. Very peculiar. But she went on an all-meat diet to ease some of the issues that she was experiencing. So if you guys haven't caught it, you can catch her here on the Joe Rogan. Carnivore diet fixed Michaela Peterson's arthritis. You can check that out. That was from many years, 7 years ago, so for that interview. But Dr. Berry, which I find interesting also, is part of the, actually I went over here to look up the blood pressure for it, but he's part of the American Academy of Family Physicians. And I find it interesting because it's the American Heart Association that does the blood pressure. Of course, they work with the pharmaceutical companies because their average is 120/80. As you guys, many of you know that the standard, as it is by the American Heart Association, is 120/80. But when it comes to the American Academy of Family Physicians, they say 140/90 for most adults, and clinicians may consider a lower target of 135/85. So I've always thought personally too that 120/80 is a good heart. It obviously is. If your blood pressure is 120/80, that is a very good blood pressure. That is, say for example, if I wanted to get 120/80, I would have to hit the treadmill at least 20 minutes a day for 4 days a week, and I can usually hit a 120/80. But for right now, sometimes mine does kind of hover around 135/85. But, we need blood pressure. It's there. Now, don't take any of my medical advice. I'm not a medical physician. I'm just saying, as you can see here from the American Academy of Family Physicians, they usually target most healthy adults around 140/80 or 135/85. And this is Ken Berry as well. So Ken is, I mean, he's a very reputable guy. Obviously, they had him on Fox News and stuff, not necessarily based on his reputation, but because he's a very credible guy, and I've always enjoyed his work. You definitely check him out here on YouTube and find out all kinds of different interesting things he talks about when it comes to food and nutrition and these sorts of things. And I don't know if he's still practicing. I mean, maybe he's still practicing and doing this all together. These guys stay really busy. They do a lot of stuff, but pretty extraordinary story. But you let me know down in the comments sections. Have you tried an all-meat diet, or do you have a particular diet that you like, something that works for you? Now, I also, I'd say probably in the last couple years, I started doing fasting as well. Sometimes even as long as I've gone is 36-hour fasting, and I find that it's incredibly helpful, and you feel a world of difference when you're eating right, exercising, and taking care of yourself. It makes a huge difference in everything. But nonetheless, guys, that's what I had for you this Friday.
All right, guys, so that's going to wrap it up for this Friday vlog. Thank you for the likes, the shares, and the comments. Below this video, you can find the various social media links that I belong to, so avail yourselves to that. If you order frequently from Amazon or a Prime member, you can use my landing page link. Your privacy is protected. And speaking of privacy online, my favorite virtual private network, VPN Trust Zone, is down there. You guys can check it out. No fuss, no bloat. Gets you straight to what you want to do. But I want to thank all you guys across NewTek, BitChute, Rumble, and Odyssey for your guys' continued support. And of course, everyone here on YouTube. Appearing there on the screen, that's going to be the channel icon. You guys can click on that to subscribe, as well as to select notification. That way you know when there's content here on the channel. And I'll see all you guys behind the Galaxy phone camera next week.